We're jumping straight into unusual machines today. Everyone is watching the price action, but the real story is the massive shift toward domestic drone procurement.
Exactly. You're tuned into the Easy Money Show, where we make sense of the market's biggest moves. I'm glad you're with us.
If this helped you understand the market faster, subscribe, hit the like button, and comment below with the next company you want us to simplify.
And before we get back to the stock, here is a simple tool for investors who want cleaner stock research. You can check out stockanalysis.com Pro through the link below in the description. Use discount code ITP for 10% off. Stockanalysis.com is lightweight, easy to use, and works on desktop, iOS, and Android. The free version is useful for checking stock prices, financials, charts, forecasts, and news. But if you want a deeper research workflow, Pro gives you no ads, saved screeners, watch lists, portfolios, long-term financial history, dividend history, analyst filters, ETF data, and exports to Excel, CSV, and Google Sheets. Pro comes down to about $5.93 per month when billed annually after the discount. For heavier users, the unlimited plan adds unlimited downloads and unlimited stocks per watch list, and comes down to about $14.93 per month when billed annually after the discount. StockAnalysis.com is a research tool, not financial advice. It does not tell you what to buy or sell, and it does not guarantee investment results. Always do your own research and make your own investment decisions. This is an affiliate link, so we may earn a commission if you use it at no extra cost to you.
Let's break that down even further. So when I say price action, we are talking about a stock that has been, honestly, just gapping up, trending heavily in these pre-market sessions.
Yeah, it's been everywhere.
Right. It's landing squarely on investor radars right next to massive household tech names.
Yeah.
Like, we're seeing unusual machines trending alongside giants like Dell and super microcomputer.
Which is wild for a company this size, right?
Exactly. But you have to, look past those flashing green numbers on the screen, because this isn't just about a stock catching some temporary momentum wave.
No, definitely not.
What we are really looking at here is a potential structural shift in how this country buys its most critical technology.
Yeah, and to figure out if this is a real structural shift, we've pulled Department of Defense procurement reports, analyst notes on small cap tech, and some recent policy drafts, too.
Because our mission today is really to figure out if Unusual Machines actually has the goods to become a foundational player in national security. Or, and this is the big fear, if this is just a Washington rumor driving a stock bubble.
Right. And if you're listening to this, you're probably thinking, I've heard this whole domestic manufacturing hype before. What makes this time different?
Yeah, it's a fair question.
The difference here is just the sheer scale of the forced transition. To understand Unusual Machines, we really have to talk about the massive void they're trying to fill. We have to talk about who they're replacing.
You're talking about DJI.
I am. DJI is a Chinese tech giant that currently controls, roughly 70% of the global commercial drone market?
Something like that, yeah. It's massive.
They are the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world right now. I mean, from consumer hobbyists to professional film crews to enterprise logistics, they just own the space.
Now, here's the simple bull case. Analysts are actually calling this the Intel moment for U.S. drone makers.
The Intel moment. I like that phrasing.
Right. But to understand why that exact phrase is being used, we have to ask why the federal government is so desperate to kick a company with 70% market share out of the country.
It fundamentally comes down to data and infrastructure.
Yeah.
Because if you have a drone inspecting a nuclear power plant or, surveying a military base, or even just mapping a regional agricultural grid, that drone is gathering highly sensitive three-dimensional geospatial data.
Exactly.
It's taking high-resolution video, it's logging these super precise GPS coordinates, and in some cases, it can actually sniff out local wireless networks.
Which is terrifying, honestly. And the national security fear is that the data routing on these foreign manufactured systems could be compromised.
Yep.
The concern is that a foreign government could potentially compel companies like DJI to hand over that mapping data.
Yeah.
And you absolutely do not want a foreign adversary having a real-time, high-definition 3D map of your country's critical infrastructure.
Definitely not. So the federal government realized that having our defense sector and, frankly, our enterprise logistics relying on foreign hardware is just a massive, unacceptable vulnerability.
Right.
And that realization creates something incredibly powerful for domestic companies like Unusual Machines.
It creates what we call a regulatory moat. And a regulatory moat is entirely different from like a traditional business moat.
Oh, completely.
Because normally a company protects its market share by having a better brand or cooler features or maybe just a significantly cheaper product, right? They have to fight tooth and nail for every single customer in an open market.
Right, but a regulatory moat is this artificial legal barrier. It means your biggest, and usually your cheapest, competitors are literally locked out of the market by law.
Yeah.
So Unusual Machines doesn't have to outmarket DJI or other foreign competitors in the public sector. The government is just no longer allowed to buy from them, period. They benefit directly from mandates like the Blue UAS framework.
And we should probably clarify the Blue UAS framework for anyone who doesn't track defense procurement all day.
Yeah, good idea.
It's essentially a VIP list created by the Department of Defense. If your drone system makes that list, it means the hardware and the software have been rigorously vetted, it's secure, and government agencies are pre-cleared to buy it.
It just streamlines the whole purchasing process.
Exactly.
Because if you are not on that list, you are essentially invisible to a massive chunk of federal spending. Getting that domestic stamp of approval is the ultimate golden ticket.
But let me push back on this Intel moment idea for a second.
Sure.
Because being on a VIP list is great. Selling hardware to the government is great. But does a regulatory moat actually guarantee long-term success? Because hardware is a tough business, and government contracts, they eventually run out or get renegotiated.
Right, they do.
So why are analysts acting like this is a permanent shift in the company's valuation?
Well, because it isn't just about selling a piece of flying plastic. It's about becoming the foundational, unavoidable building block for an entire workflow.
Okay, how so?
Think about how personal computers evolved in the 90s. It didn't matter what brand of computer you bought. The sticker on the outside might have been different, but inside, they all ran on Intel. That was the engine.
Okay, so how does that apply to a drone maker today, though?
It comes down to switching costs. Let's step away from the military for a second and imagine like a regional power company.
Sure.
They have 50,000 miles of power lines to inspect. They buy a fleet of Unusual Machines drones. They spend 3 years and millions of dollars training 500 linemen to use this specific drone interface.
Right. The training is expensive.
Very. And then they integrate the drone's proprietary software into their legacy IT systems. They write their internal safety protocols and compliance documents based on this exact hardware.
Ah, I see where you're going with this.
Right. 5 years from now, even if a competitor comes along with a drone that is $50 cheaper, that power company is not going to throw out millions of dollars of training and IT integration just to save a few bucks on the hardware.
They're locked in?
Exactly. They are trapped in the ecosystem. They aren't going to switch.
That is the sticky, recurring revenue we're always talking about. When an enterprise or a government agency integrates your hardware, trains their personnel on your systems, and builds their daily workflows around your tech, they do not switch providers easily.
Which brings us to the next massive layer of this bull case. And this is really where the story shifts from just being about selling more hardware to fundamentally changing the financial DNA of the company.
Right, the capital side.
Yeah, we are seeing rumors of a sovereign capital injection. The word right now is that the Trump administration is eyeing direct equity stakes in U.S. drone makers.
Wait, let's pause and unpack that mechanism, because the government doesn't just open up a retail brokerage account.
Right, they don't just log into Robinhood.
Yeah, and start clicking buy on small cap tech stocks. How does the Pentagon actually inject equity into a private drone company?
It usually happens through specialized defense channels. So the government has entities like the Office of Strategic Capital, or they use mechanisms under the Defense Production Act. Sometimes it looks like a strategic venture arm, kind of similar to how the CIA uses In-Q-Tel to invest in tech startups. They create specialized funds designed to directly capitalize companies that are building technology deemed absolutely critical to national security.
And why is that so much better than just taking money from a regular Wall Street venture capital firm?
Because their incentives are completely different. A traditional VC wants a 10 times return on their money, and they will force a company to grow at an unsustainable breakneck speed to get it.
Right, the hypergrowth trap.
Exactly. But the U.S. government doesn't care about a 10 times exit. They care about having a functional, secure supply chain. Taking equity is their way of ensuring the company survives the brutal hardware development cycle.
And that development cycle is brutal. I mean, normally, small hardware companies, especially those in their growth phase, are just cash incinerators.
Oh, totally.
Building physical things, funding the research, the development, the manufacturing lines, the supply chains. It burns through capital incredibly fast.
Fast is an understatement.
Yeah. Usually, these companies have to keep going back to the open market, taking on expensive debt, or issuing more stock, which just dilutes the existing shareholders just to keep the lights on.
But if the government steps in and takes a direct equity stake, that is the ultimate sovereign backstop. It completely changes the risk profile of the business.
It really does.
You aren't just getting a customer, you are getting the United States government as a partner who has a vested financial interest in making sure you do not fail. It bulletproofs their balance sheet.
And the market is starting to price in this exact scenario. We're seeing massive momentum and major analyst upgrades across the board.
Yeah, the price targets are wild right now.
They are expanding significantly. Targets are being revised aggressively up into the $40 and $55 ranges. Those are the kinds of revisions you see when an analyst believes the core business model is undergoing a permanent transformation.
Looking at the flip side, here is the lowdown on the risk.
Hold on, though. If they have a regulatory moat locking out their biggest competitor, a captive audience with incredibly high switching costs, and a potential sovereign backstop from the U.S. government, that sounds like a guaranteed win.
It does sound perfect.
Right. So why wouldn't every investor on the planet be piling in right now? What is the catch?
The catch is the broader macro environment. No matter how good a specific company's story sounds, you cannot ignore what the Federal Reserve is doing.
Ah, the Fed. Always the Fed.
Right. Right now, we are dealing with a brutal interest rate environment. We've seen Wall Street giants like Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and Citi aggressively pulling back their 2026 rate cut forecasts.
Not long ago, the market was absolutely certain that cheap money was just around the corner. But inflation has been stubborn.
Extremely stubborn. And now, the market isn't just giving up on cuts, it is actively pricing in a 28% chance of a rate hike.
Wow. Okay, we need to drop the vague financial jargon for a second and explain mechanically why that matters to unusual machines.
Let's do it.
Think of high interest rates as a mechanical tax on the future. Hardware companies have to spend tens of millions of dollars today on research, building factories, and securing parts for a payoff that might be 3 or 4 years down the line.
Right.
So they have to borrow cash to fund that waiting period.
And when interest rates are high or going higher, the cost of funding that waiting period just eats all your potential profit.
Yeah.
If you have to borrow money at 8 or 9% just to build the assembly line, the margins on the drones you eventually sell get crushed.
Exactly. Plus, from an investor's perspective, if they can get a guaranteed risk-free return of 5% just by parking their cash in government bonds, they demand massive premiums to take a risk on a small tech stock.
Yeah, and this dynamic causes what analysts call valuation compression.
Let's define valuation compression.
Good idea.
When we say valuation compression, we just mean that investors are no longer willing to pay a premium for a company's exciting future potential. The stock price literally shrinks to match its current, less exciting reality. High rates act like gravity on the valuations of growth phase companies.
But there is a massive debate happening right now among analysts about this exact dynamic, because the bullish counterargument is that defense spending insulates them.
Right, because the government always pays.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The theory is that the defense budget doesn't care about interest rates. National security spending doesn't contract just because borrowing costs tick up 0.25%.
I have to push back on that, though. Defense budgets are massive, sure, but they are also notoriously slow to be allocated.
Oh, for sure.
The Pentagon bureaucracy moves at a glacial pace. If I am a small company borrowing at 9% right now to build a factory, a promised government check that might arrive in late 2026 doesn't help me keep the lights on today, does it?
No, it absolutely does not. And that leads us right into the second major risk, which is policy execution risk. We talked about the administration eyeing direct equity stakes. But investors need to be incredibly clear-eyed here. Right now, a lot of this is just a narrative.
It is a story, a very compelling, highly logical story based on obvious national security needs, but still a story.
It is built on rumors and strategic intentions. If the administration fails to formalize this policy, if they get bogged down in congressional red tape, or if the legal mechanics of the government buying equity in a private company prove too legally complex, that sovereign backstop vanishes.
And if that sovereign capital doesn't arrive, Unusual Machines is right back in the deep end without a life vest. They're back to being a cash-burning hardware company trying to survive in a high-interest rate environment.
There's also the specific product risk to consider. We said earlier that the Pentagon is slow, but they're also incredibly fickle.
Very true.
Even if they are completely committed to buying domestic, there is no guarantee they don't pivot their procurement strategy away from the specific products that Unusual Machines makes.
Right. Because the Blue UAS framework isn't a monopoly for one company. It's a cleared list for several domestic companies.
Exactly.
So if a competitor builds a slightly better, slightly cheaper Blue-approved drone next year, the government's loyalty will shift instantly. If that narrative breaks, the stock's momentum could collapse just as fast as it built up.
So what should regular investors watch next? It's easy to get swept up in the pre-market gap-ups and the massive price target revisions, but you have to ground your thesis in upcoming verifiable events.
And the biggest reality check in the market is always the earnings report.
Always.
We need to be watching their Q2 2026 earnings, which we expect to drop somewhere around August. As an investor, you have to look past the hype of the narrative and listen very closely to management's forward guidance.
You're looking for proof that the story is becoming math.
Hmm.
Are they actually building a verifiable procurement backlog? Are government agencies and enterprise clients actually signing binding purchase orders?
Yeah, show us the receipts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The market is going to want concrete proof that this supposed Intel moment is converting into real, recognized revenue on the balance sheet.
Because if the narrative is running at 100 miles an hour, but the actual revenue growth is only jogging, the market will punish that discrepancy violently.
The other major catalyst to watch is the policy front. Regular investors should keep their eyes peeled for any official announcements regarding the drone sector equity stakes.
Yeah, we aren't looking for more unnamed sources or speculative op-eds here.
No, we're looking for a formal press release from the administration or the Pentagon outlining exactly how they plan to inject capital into these domestic manufacturers.
Any formalization of that policy wouldn't just be a nice headline. It would be a massive re-rating catalyst for the whole sector. It would take all that speculative execution risk off the table and replace it with hard, sovereign-backed certainty. That is the kind of event that changes the fundamental valuation of a company overnight.
Let's wrap this up in plain English. We have covered a massive amount of ground today.
We really have.
At its core, the stock is moving rapidly because the United States is practically forced to build a secure domestic drone supply chain. The days of relying on cheap foreign hardware for national security applications are officially over.
The strongest point for the bulls is that Unusual Machines is sitting comfortably behind a massive regulatory moat. Their biggest competitors are legally barred from the arena, the switching costs for enterprise clients are incredibly high, and there is a very real possibility of receiving direct, bulletproof government investment.
But the biggest risk remains the macro headwinds. We are staring down the barrel of higher interest rates for much longer than anyone anticipated, which acts as a heavy tax on small-cap growth. And if that government equity stake remains nothing more than an unfulfilled rumor, the stock could face severe valuation compression.
Going forward, you need to watch their Q2 earnings to see if the financial reality is actually keeping pace with the hype, and you need to watch Washington for any official policy drops regarding those equity investments.
And here's a thought to leave you with. We spent this whole time talking about the government stepping in to save domestic hardware out of sheer necessity.
Right.
But if this model works, if the government successfully takes equity stakes in drone makers to secure the supply chain, what other sectors might be next?
That is a great question.
What happens to the broader market when Uncle Sam starts acting like a venture capitalist in any industry deemed critical to national security? It completely changes the rules of the game for small-cap tech.
If you want a simpler way to research stocks, check out stockanalysis.com Pro through the link below in the description. Use code ITP for 10% off. Pro comes down to about $5.93 per month when billed annually after the discount, and Unlimited comes down to about $14.93 per month when billed annually after the discount. Just remember, stockanalysis.com is a research tool, not financial advice. It does not guarantee investment results, and you should always do your own research before making any investment decision. This is an affiliate link, and we may earn a commission at no extra cost to you.
That is the lowdown. Subscribe for more simple market breakdowns and comment below with the next company you want us to simplify.